I'm excited to say that we finally got a big drop for the Speedroid monsters that are going to be coming to the TCG in Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm. Now, this is not all of the support that we're going to be getting. We are still missing one spell or trap for the deck, but we do have 5 cards of support here, and I think that is enough to go ahead and take a good look and see what has changed in the Speedroid strategy. Now, Speedroids are a deck that I have personally been looking forward to quite a bit as far as their new support is concerned. I actually own the entire deck in the TCG, and I have played it at tournaments multiple times. I enjoy this deck quite a bit, and I am super excited to go ahead and try this deck out. Now, this is a going second variant of Speedroids. This is just a quick modification on a deck that I already had built. I put in the new support and I wanted to see exactly what it was capable of doing. Now, I'll explain a little bit further into the video why I chose to play a going second build, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. So out of the new support for Speedroids, the best cards revealed thus far are the Synchro Monsters. There's a new Synchro Tuner Monster that is a level 3, and there is a level 11 Boss Monster. The level 3 Synchro Monster is called Hi-Speedroid Cork Blaster, and on summon what it does is you can activate one of 2 effects. You can either add a Speedroid spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, which as of right now there's only one target, which is the new trap card. Or you can bring back all monsters used for the Synchro Summon, assuming that they are in Graveyard. Now, whenever you Synchro Summon this card, you're normally going to be using your red-eyed dice, which has an effect to modify the level of another Speedroid monster you control, and change its level to any number between 1 and 6. And whenever you bring it back, you can use its effect an additional time, because its effect is not once per turn. A lot of your combos here are going to be reliant on red-eyed dice, modifying the level of an existing monster on field. Before, it was a good card because you could modify the level of a card and then get into any Wind Synchro monster between the levels of 3 and 7, but because we have Cork Blaster now, and you're able to just modify into a 3 and bring it back, you're able to get into a wide range of levels that you wouldn't be able to access before Cork Blaster. Now, our other Synchro Monster here, the level 11, is called Hi-Speedroid Clearwing Rider, and it's pretty well locked into this deck. You need a Wind Tuner monster plus 1 non-tuner Clearwing, so you're not going to be summoning it in a lot of other decks, but its effects on field are really good. Once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided dice on your turn and shuffle an amount of wind monsters in your graveyard back into your deck up to the number that you rolled. Then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number, and it'll gain 500 attack for each card you destroyed. And it starts with a base of 3,500, so at minimum, if you're destroying one card, you rolled the lowest possible number and you shuffled one card back in, it's going to be a 4,000 attacker. Its effect on the opponent's turn lets you tribute it to summon up to 2 level 7 Wind Synchro monsters from your extra deck. Now, this new support is all really good, but it doesn't really fix the primary problem that Speedroids have, which is why I chose to mix it with the Wind Witch support, along with having it going second. Now, that issue that Speedroids have is that they struggle to play through Nibiru, along with cards like Dark Ruler No More being able to easily break their board. While you can make some really strong Synchro monsters, they don't have a way to stop Dark Ruler, and without the Wind Witches, you can't play through Nibiru all that well because you don't have enough extenders and you don't have the correct extenders. You have to draw really broken to be able to play through Nibiru. Now, this all might change. We are still missing one additional spell or trap card for the deck, and the level 3 can search Speedroid spell and trap cards. So if they get a counter trap or they get some really good extender that lets you play through Nibiru, that might change. But as of right now, I think that it is correct to play this deck as a going second build, because otherwise you are going to lose to those cards, and you're going to lose really hard to them. That said, this does create some issues. If you use the Wind Witch package, or rather if you activate the Wind Witch package because you drew into it or you searched into it, you can't summon your level 3 Synchro, which is now one of your best Synchros, and you can't summon your Link monster, which is an absolutely busted Link monster. In turn, this also prevents you from summoning your Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon, so instead of playing Crystal Clearwing, we're going to opt to play Baroness de Fleur. Which isn't really all that bad. There are some combos in this deck that let you get it out super early. Now, in our other 3 cards of support, we got 2 effect monsters and 1 trap. The first of these is a level 4 tuner monster. And when normal or special summoned, it lets you check to see how many other wind monsters that you have. Then you excavate the top cards of your deck equal to the number of other wind monsters you control besides itself, and you get to add one of those excavated cards from your deck to your hand. So if you play it correctly, it's almost always going to be a +1. Our other monster is a level 3 that on normal summon lets you send a Speedroid card from your deck to your graveyard, and you can banish it from the grave to return another Speedroid monster from your graveyard back to your deck, and then special summon a Speedroid Synchro Monster from your extra deck that is the same level as the monster that you returned. But that effect cannot be used the same turn that it is sent to the graveyard. The final of our support cards is a trap that lets you banish a wind monster from your graveyard in order to target a card your opponent controls and return it to hand. But it does have a secondary once per duel effect that lets you lower the level of a Speedroid monster you control by 1, and then special summon it from the graveyard as a level 1 monster. And it's treated as a tuner monster. Now this does create some interesting interactions. Our level 3 Armageddon Knight can send our trap card, and then the trap card can lower the level of our level 3 to a 2, bring itself on board as a tuner monster, and then we could sync into our Cork Blaster. However, our Cork Blaster cannot bring back our materials because it can't bring back the trap card as a monster. So instead, the best thing to do here is to just go ahead and go into your Link monster. This will give you additional advantage and provide you an additional normal summon, so it's not bad. But the fact that you can go into the Cork Blaster in this scenario means that you could search for a spell or trap card. Now, our only applicable target here is the trap card that we use to summon it, so we would get like a pseudo Compulse. This does lead me to believe that the card that we are going to be getting is probably going to be some kind of an extender or a power play card. We could get a counter trap, which would be super impactful for this deck, but this line of play makes me believe that it's probably more of a combo card that we are currently missing. Now, I do intend on making a combo video for this deck, but for the exact reason that I mentioned previously, I want to hold off until we get the final card of support, because I am kind of thinking that it's going to be an extender. And if it's not an extender and it's like a counter trap, that's just as important, because you want to end your board on the counter trap to prevent getting completely destroyed by Dark Ruler. And if we do get a counter trap, we can play this as more of a going first deck. It's a bit more consistent that way. That said, if you want to play this as a going first deck right now, feel free to. It's just my personal opinion that it's probably better as a going second deck, and that is what I experienced whenever I was testing it. Uninterrupted, this deck does make some really ridiculous boards, and it's just kind of a shame that it currently loses to cards like Dark Ruler.